Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Saudi sisters who fled the kingdom call for tech firms to pull a controversial guardianship app. This woman's fantasy life led her to commit fraud. Now her reality could be to serve time in a US prison. Tribal people stand up and demand their rights be respected in Brazil. And the chimp of Instagram, one of a number of animals doing stuff this Friday. And the top of our newsfeed, guardianship by men in Saudi Arabia is back in the headlines. Two Saudi sisters are using social media to call on tech firms to help them in their fight against Saudi laws that limit their movements. Maha and Wafa al-Subaie have been seeking asylum and have been hiding out in Georgia for about a week now. But also, they're now calling on Apple and Google to pull an app called Absher. Now, Absher was created by the Saudi government and helps men control and monitor the movements of their female relatives. Sama Hadid is from Amnesty International, and she says that the app is a modern, outward symbol of the archaic guardianship system.
Reports suggest that the Saudi sisters who have fled Saudi Arabia are in Georgia and remain in Georgia. It is up to the authorities there to accept their claim for asylum and to look into their claims further. But I think this is also a broader issue around the need for Saudi Arabia to dismantle the male guardianship system, a system that is pushing women to flee and seek basic rights and freedoms elsewhere. I think the powerful aspect of the stories of women taking to social media and pushing the authorities to change the male guardianship laws that are pushing them to flee the kingdom, I think is a testament to their bravery and to their courage. It's really important that when Saudi Arabian women flee the kingdom, that the media and social media pressure is mounted on the authorities, not only to end the male guardianship system, which is pushing women to seek asylum elsewhere, but also for the countries in which they're fleeing to grant them asylum and to process their claims. These women who are fleeing the kingdom are in search of safety. They're running away and escaping from a system that discriminates against them, a system that allows their male guardians to physically harm them. And so it's absolutely important that when they are seeking asylum, that those asylum claims are investigated and are taken up.
Okay, let's take a look now at some other things that caught our eye on social media. Now, in the United States, this woman, Anna Sorkin, has been convicted of fraud and theft after she pretended to be a billionaire heiress and built a bunch of New York socialites out of their trust funds. She'll be sentenced next month and could also be deported back to Germany for overstaying her visa. Meanwhile, Netflix is to make a series about her life scamming Manhattan's socialites. This is William Smith on the left there, a South African teacher who's just received the country's prestigious Order of the Bobab Medal from the president. It's for his services to maths and science. Now, Smith became a household name in the 80s and 90s in South Africa for teaching people about maths on television. South Africans on social media have been thanking him for making numbers fun when they were young. Avengers Endgame just came out, and of course it is trending worldwide. It is the longest Marvel movie ever, and by all accounts, epic. That's if you believe our editor, Louis. Now, no spoilers, and that is a thing because all the Marvel stans agreed they wouldn't share plot lines online, so everyone who wants to see it can go in nice and fresh. I wish they'd do the same with Game of Thrones. Anyway, loads of people in LA watched a 65-hour marathon movie, 25 films, Avengers back-to-back, including the latest one. Now, we're not sure if it's the movie or sleep deprivation that made this woman react this way.
It was well worth the 3 days of being in there, just full of emotions. Yeah. Sorry.
Now, Egyptians have voted in a referendum which gives President Sisi the power to be in charge of the country until at least the year 2030. Sisi is a former army general who came to power in 2014 after a military coup removed the first civilian head of state in Egypt, Mohamed Morsi. Now, protests in Brasilia are gathering strength as indigenous people fight the policies of President Jair Bolsonaro. Now, since he came to power, he's attempted to strip tribal people of their rights and land. But now the tribal people are fighting back.
Since the democratization of Brazil, the government has launched as many attacks on indigenous people as the government of Mr. Jair Bolsonaro. This moment is one of serious threats and decline.
We're tired of being murdered. We're tired of not having our lands demarcated. We're tired of this genocide, ecocide, with the indigenous peoples. We're defending the planet.
Well, the Amazon rainforest, the lungs of the earth, is under increasing threat of deforestation since that new president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, came to office. Take a look.
The Amazon. There's a reason why it's called the lungs of the planet. It spans 6.7 million kilometers squared, which is twice the size of India and encompasses the single largest remaining tropical rainforest and the largest river basin in the world. But more importantly, the Amazon plays a critical role in the health of the planet, as more than 20% of the world's oxygen is produced in its rainforest. The Amazon River carries about 1/5 of all the water that runs on Earth's surface. The Amazon is also home to the most diverse plant and animal species in the world, some of which are yet to be discovered. But it has lost at least 17% of its forest cover in the last 50 years. And while deforestation rates have declined over the last decade, it's still happening. Brazil, Peru, and Bolivia are some of the top countries responsible, Brazil alone accounting for half of the Amazon's deforestation. But while deforestation is a big issue for the Amazon, some of its trees have also been dying at an increasing rate in the last 2 decades due to global environmental changes. This restricts the forest's ability to soak up the carbon dioxide in the air, which will as a result accumulate in the atmosphere and only drive global temperatures to rise further.
Well, a spin around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Friday. Here's the second in line to the British throne, meeting survivors of the Christchurch mosque massacre in hospital. Prince William also visited the Al Noor Mosque, where he said forces of love will always prevail.
Violence was designed to change New Zealand, but instead, the grief of a nation revealed just how deep your wells of empathy, compassion, warmth, and love truly run.
Well, I think we feel a bit isolated sometimes here, and it's just good to know that you've got support from around the world.
At least 300 people have been quarantined at 2 universities in Los Angeles because of a measles outbreak. The disease had all but died out in the US, but there has been a resurgence in recent years, largely because people have been avoiding vaccines due to lies about their dangers being spread, especially on social media. The quarantine's in place at UCLA and California State in LA. It's reported that at least 2 people with the disease went to classes at the colleges earlier in the month. And now we have some great animal-related stories for you. The first is from the DRC. Now, if you remember, earlier in the week, a great picture of some gorillas striking a pose went viral. Well, the guy who snapped it has been talking. Take a look.
When they stood up, I took my phone out because I didn't want to lose the shot because it was exceptional. The gorillas are very precious to us and obey our orders. When they saw me take out my phone, they dropped what they were doing, spotted the camera and watched. That's why the gorillas gave us such a good picture that went around the world. You see, they can walk 1 or 2 meters on 2 legs, but also these animals are so used to humans. They like to imitate us and do what people do. This is why people who don't live with them can't understand, but they are incredible.
All right, and sticking with primates being boss, check out this chimp on Instagram, using it way better than I can. There he is, holding and scrolling and selecting, really making use of those opposable thumbs. Now, this video was filmed by a guy who works at an animal sanctuary in the US, and it has been viewed millions of times on social in the past couple of days for quite obvious reasons.
Oh, touching snakes, that's always dangerous.
And we will finish this Friday with some serious cuteness. These tiger triplets have just made their debut at a Mexican zoo. They're extremely rare Bengal cubs, only a month old, 2 boys and a girl. And as you can see, they are super cute and amazing. Their mum's called Vanilla, and we here at Newsfeed send our warm congratulations and an offer to cub sit if ever needed. That'll do from Newsfeed today. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Follow, subscribe and add. See you again very soon.